Hello, everyone. Welcome. Okay, so I rescheduled this for today because I was traveling yesterday. And my internet is still a little slow. It's getting upgraded tomorrow, so I'm not sure. There might be a delay. I don't know. Um, it's delayed on my phone, so I can't see what's happening. But I'm just gonna do it and trust it. I just wanted to pop on here today, just really briefly to talk about a little bit about me and my background, and then a little bit about boundaries. I know this has kind of been a big topic recently, and so I just want to touch on that. So, just a little bit about me. So, originally, I was in the IT field. I was in the Navy when I was younger, and then that led me to the IPT field. And, I started having a lot of health challenges. And so, like hormone imbalance and not regular cycles and things like that. And I really didn't want to go on medication. And so I knew there was another way. And so I started diving into holistic healing. And I was already like pretty health conscious, like in the way I ate and just wanting to exercise and being in nature and things like that. But I, when I had all of this happen and like the doctors wanted to put me back on birth control and things like that to like regulate, I was like, no, there's like definitely got to be another way. And then I went to Peru and sat with some medicine there. And my journey from there has just like really continued into diving into all the healing modalities, like for myself and as a practitioner. And so, energy healing and all kinds of different holistic healing, like Ayurvedic medicine, Chinese medicine, massage therapy, sound healing. And so, diving into all of the things, and I'm really finding like what works for me, what has supported my nervous system. And it has been sound healing and the plants and being in nature. I would say those are like the top things that have really, really supported me. And so I think like when we're thinking about healing, we're thinking about like maybe all we need to do all these external things, but actually what it is that it's a softening, it's a coming back to the self. It's giving the body space to heal. So the body heals when we're in an altered state, when we are kind of in the dreaming. The body really has space to naturally do what it knows how to do best. So if the body has space to heal, then it will do what it can. But oftentimes we're so busy and we're so distracted, and our nervous systems are like tense or on guard or in freeze, and so we're numb or we're constantly doing something. And so if we can just actually take time to slow down and rest or be present or be with nature, this really allows ourselves to unwind. And this has been a huge, huge part of my journey and my nervous system regulation and expanding my capacity and stepping more into this space and really being in my body and being in this really deep place of trust and connection and inner wisdom and like surrender to the mystery of it all and really trust in like the divine and like God moving through me as God moving through me and my higher self, and being guided every step of the way. Um, so, yeah, I wanted to speak to that. This is how the Clarity course was born. That starts next Tuesday. Because it is really diving into these layers of embodiment. So, we really want to dive into, feeling safe in the body, moving through any fears that are present, that are like ready. We're not going to like dig, but if there's anything that's like alive and ready to be seen and be witnessed and have space held for it, like that's a part of that. And then a lot of really like self-love, coming back to the self, coming back to the acceptance, the love, opening the heart, softening the heart, so we're not like so rigid. And then also self-expression, and being able to like be seen and be self-expressed and like take up space. We want to take up space and be in our joy and be in play. And so that is all really important. It's been a really important part of my journey to kind of move through all of that and continuing to come back to the joy and back to the play and back to the presence. And that's really the most supportive for my nervous system. And so there, the inspiration and the creativity and the magic can naturally occur. And so the clarity course, like that's kind of what we're diving into, whether, maybe you've done this work, maybe you haven't. But it's really to help unlock clarity and unlock our purpose, because when we really come more into our body, more into our truth, more into our authentic self, then we can really be clear on our path or our next step, or really what our magic is, how we're meant to share with the world. So I wanted to share a little bit about that, and then I'm just going to touch real quick on boundaries, because I know that's like been a hot topic. That was a really big topic in my foundations course that I did. Everybody was like really excited for that content. So boundaries are really a way of honoring our authenticity in what is true for us, our truth, our yes, our no. And when we do those, we're actually following our truth. We're not people pleasing. So people pleasing is the fawn response. So when we people please, it's actually kind of like almost like a passive narcissistic behavior. I'm not putting labels on anybody, but it can look like that depending on how much we're people pleasing. And so what's really important, again, we come back to our body and we tune into like what feels good for us in our body. Is our body expanding and opening, or is it contracting and shrinking? If we want to go out with a friend, like, does that feel expansive or does that feel contracting? Maybe dating a guy, or, maybe taking a job or leaving a job. This can show up in any areas of life. And so our boundaries kind of just become an innate way of where we live based on how we live our life based on our own self-respect. And so it comes back, it ties back in with the self-love, the self-respect, and really coming back to ourself and our truth. And knowing that if we're in our truth, that it's serving the highest good of everybody. And so even if it's activating or triggering somebody else, like our no, it's okay. That's okay. That's part of their process. That's part of their path. And so we can't feel, we can, feel guilt and things like that, but we don't want to be like attached to those things, because if we're following our truth and we're in our heart and we're doing what feels good to us. So that's a little bit about boundaries. I would love to hear any comments or any questions. I know since I've done this work, it's been really, really empowering when we step into our boundaries and our truth. Like, it can really feel empowering. We're taking our power back. When we people please, we're giving our power away. When we step into our truth and we say no, we're saying yes to ourselves, and we're calling our power back in every step of the way. And then we know, what is true and what is not true, and we're living our life more authentically. And then this attracts in like our tribe and our sisters and our brothers and our soul family in a way that is really, really nourishing. And maybe people will fall away. That's a whole nother topic. I've gone through so many friend circles over the last 15 years of my life. It's wild. And there's a lot of grief in that, but I'm so grateful, because the people that are in my life right now are like, I mean, we're so connected from lifetimes, and there's so much love and understanding and connection, and really deep sisterhood bonds, and just really nourishing relationships. And so I'm so, so grateful. Beautiful. So, any questions? This resonates deeply where I'm at right now. I'm so glad I was able. Beautiful. Thank you so much. The chats are a little bit delayed. So if you said that comment like a few minutes ago or a while ago, then I apologize. That's just the way the Facebook works. It's kind of interesting technology, but beautiful. If you have any other thoughts or questions, drop them in, and I'm going to be doing this consistently every week. So I'm happy to continue to answer questions and expand on these, and even just like, in the group itself or on the live. So we'll keep these conversations going and opening them up to a bigger space. Thank you so much for being here. Have a beautiful Wednesday, and we'll chat soon.